something regarding me,
Yeah.
so that I can put it on my channel, like on my personal channel.
Oh, absolutely. I think that'd be good
Maybe like I
content.
don't know, maybe like I don't know, a 4 minute clip or something.
No worries. Well, we are recording as we speak right now, so let's get
Okay.
into it. So I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I just didn't know like the right time to do it, but I think now is the perfect time. Um, so I just kind of wanted to go around and just get a brief check-in, see how we're doing, and we'll get into the Q&A. So how are you?
I'm doing good. What about you?
Yeah, just hanging in there. I would say that like leaving the residential treatment community center and being adjusted back into the studio, it's been a little bit of a change, but a healthy change for sure. And
I bet you have a lot of stories to tell.
yeah, no, the that place was it was wild for sure. Um, so this video is intended for people that may know our art, but not us as artists. I feel like there's a big disconnect between the art we put out and who we actually are. Um, and yeah, like this video is just to get more insight into our lives and who we are as people, essentially. Um, so why don't you tell me a little bit about you?
Okay,
What do you
so
do and where you from?
my name is Alex. I'm 24 years old. I'm from Austria. Some of you probably know me as AndoraX. I've never produced under another name, but I did have a side project called Lost Waste. So maybe you've heard of that. But that project has been abandoned since like 2024, so it's not an active project.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I've made all sorts of genres in the past. Some of you maybe know me from some uploads on hydraulic damnation. Some of you maybe from other channels. I've made a wide variety of genres like dubstep, minatory, wave, chill, house music, like all sorts of stuff, even ambient.
Nice. And yeah, you, that's pretty fucking yeah, you've been around for a hot minute.
Yeah, I've been producing since like 2018.
Damn. I think yeah, you've been doing it longer than me. Um
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I'll go. My name's Jared. I'm 22. I live in Southern California and I specialize in minatory death step. I've been around since 2020, making music, and now I have my own record label. And yeah, been and seeing all kinds of sorts of shit within the community, and just happy to be doing this. So I broke this down into three levels. Each level has 10 questions, and
Hmm.
the first level is perception, second level is connection, and the third level
Hmm.
is reflection. So I think it would be best if I ask a question, you could go first, and then I can go second, and we'll just go from there. Um,
Yeah. I also think if you want to add something to anything I have to say, I think you can definitely
yeah,
do that
yeah,
as
we'll
well.
open the room up for discussion. Um, all right. Well, let's get into it. Level 1, perception. Question 1, do you think I intimidate others? Why or why not?
That is a very good question. I think it really depends from person to person. Like it's totally different.
I
It
agree.
also depends on what kind of relationship I have with that person.
Yeah.
For example, I do think that I personally, surprisingly, get along with a lot of people, which is something that I haven't been aware for a long time.
Yeah, you're a very kind, kind of personable guy, so I can see you like having a lot of friends.
Like, for example, I don't think I've ever really had like beef with someone.
Oh, yeah, same.
I mean, there are a couple of like
I, f-
small.
I feel like if you're in the dubstep community, especially the underground community, and you're talking to so many people, I'm sure like an argument or two
Yeah,
will arise in the case. But no, yeah, I can't say that I've beefed with anyone in the community as well. I've kind of just like stayed in my own lane, did my own shit, and it's
yeah,
been working out
exactly.
great.
The only the only thing that I can think of is maybe one person, and I don't really have a great relationship with them. Like, let's just say we have a history of
Yeah, yeah.
negative experiences, and I probably
Negative.
don't be the person that you're thinking about.
Yeah, I know exactly
I think
who you're talking about.
I'm thinking about a smaller artist.
Yeah,
You probably know who I mean.
I just gotta
But
say,
apart from that, I don't think I'm intimidating to anyone.
yeah, no, I don't think you're very intimidating at all. Um, let's see. Do you think I intimidate others? Why or why not? I don't think that I intimidate others, but I think that people that only know me for my music can be intimidated. Like I've
Yeah,
had a couple listeners like that know my music hit me up and then like they've mentioned to me that they're like, wow, like you're really just like chill down to earth guy, like I wasn't expecting you to, I was kind of expecting you to be standoffish just because of how heavy my music is, but no.
I think that's an issue that people who make heavier music face on average, like much more than your average music producer. Because when you make aggressive music, people will assume that you're an aggressive person.
Yeah, that is true. And now I'm not an aggressive person, but I have seen and gone through my fair share of shit that makes my music the way it sounds, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I think the people that make the heaviest music are like the goofiest people ever. Like
Oh, absolutely.
they're just so awesome to be around. And it's kind of funny how that works. Um, all right, question two. What do you think is the hardest part of what I do?
I think I've already answered this one when Invoke Society came up with their question. And back then I answered it with, and my reply still hasn't changed. Back then I answered with probably being and staying motivated throughout everything. Especially,
That's a big
life
one.
gets in the way, hardships get in the way, and, you know, sometimes you're not very motivated. You take a hit, like something shit in your life is happening, and sometimes you don't really have the drive to keep going.
Yeah. No,
And
absolutely.
and that definitely sucks because if art is your outlet and something happens that basically drives your motivation to do your outlet and your art to basically dwindle down to zero, you're going to run into a problem.
Yeah. Burnout is real. I think us as artists have all faced burnout at some point or another.
Especially if you're so passionate about your project and you feel like you can't do it justice whatsoever. That is very demotivating, and I've experienced that in the past.
Oh, for sure. What helps me is taking a step back, kind of just realizing that I'm human. I can create what I can create, and I can control whatever it is that I can control. But outside forces, you know, like that's the I can't control that. So
Sometimes it also helps to not take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Have fun with it, you know? Like it's art at the end of the day. Like it's
Art shouldn't be a life and death situation.
no, yeah, it should be something that we do because we want to.
Exactly.
I would say the hardest part of what I do is just being able to manage all my emotions. Because before it was really tough for me to do that. I would have these really crazy mood swings where I would be either like high and happy or depressed and just feeling like shit. Um, Especially navigating mental health as an artist, as a very creative person, it's very complex to say the least. And
Do you ever feel like, for example, sorry if I'm interrupting you, but
oh,
do you
you're
ever
good.
feel like the way you experience your emotion at that moment affects the way you create music?
I would say so, 100%. Like even with the music that I released now, you can tell there's trauma, there's dark forces uh, put into it, and it can get very overwhelming to have to manage so many different things, especially with the way my mind was, and the way it still is.
Hmm.
It is very hard, but all I could do is just take it one step at a time.
The reason I asked the question is because a lot of people that I had this conversation with claimed that if they felt bad or like depressed, they had a massive increase in musical inspiration. And when they were happier, that motivation went down for some reason. I have no idea. I personally also can relate to that
No,
in some way.
I feel that too. Like when I'm depressed and just like wanting to die, I'll open up my DAW because it's the only thing that can give me control, really.
Hmm.
And it's the one thing that I know that I'm good at. Or it's a way where I can, some people journal, some people meditate. Music's just the way that I allow myself to feel what I feel.
You know
Um,
what's funny?
hmm.
I use my music as a journal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like if you create art and that's your outlet and you're putting so much passion into something, it it should be like a tool to express whatever negative feelings you're having, um, and put it out there. Um,
I absolutely agree with you. Yeah.
yeah. All right. Question 3: Do I look kind? Explain.
That is all.
This is an interesting question.
That is always really difficult when you have to sort of like gauge yourself.
Yeah, I feel like us as humans are always like self-critical too. Like, always worrying if you're doing enough or if you're gonna be enough to people. Um,
Yeah, and besides that, you are always your worst critic.
that is true. Especially if you're an
So do
artist, I feel like you're always, trying to aim for perfection.
yeah. So do I look kind to others? Do you mean how I look as a human to others, or my online persona?
I would say both. I mean, I would say that you are a very creative, kind person. You always like if someone needs help with music or whatever, like I feel like you're always there for them to help them.
Hmm.
Any new artist that is curious about your record label, and wants to get on it, you're always accepting submissions, which I think is really awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely try to, you know, keep that up and be there for others. Like I always try to make the scene a better place for everyone.
Absolutely. Especially with such an underground scene that we're in, I feel like the more kindness that we put out is what we're going to be receiving as well. And I've experienced that firsthand. I don't think that I would be in this place at the stage where I'm at if I wasn't as open-minded as I am. So,
Oh yeah, definitely same. Like sometimes you have to take a certain risk
mhm.
with what you're doing, and I think changing my path after like 2020 definitely opened up a lot of doors for me.
Yeah. No,
And I mean,
I would say
I'm
same.
also I'm also a little bit of a stubborn person, and I'm very dead set on my morals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
No, like
of
for
course,
ex
some people do have a problem with that. Like I've definitely experienced people who are in the opposite worldview that I am, who have criticized me for all the things I personally stand for,
Mhm.
who do think I'm kind, but I think they assume I'm an idiot.
No, I think you're doing everything right if you're asking me. Because
So
I
yeah,
mean,
I think my,
we're always gonna get
yeah,
criticism in the scene. I feel like that's
yeah.
always gonna be there, but um,
So yeah, to summarize,
haters are not our enemies.
definitely. But yeah, so to summarize, I think I'm a kind person, or I look like a kind person to others.
Good.
Maybe
I'd
maybe
say
not
so too.
maybe not physically, because that is always hard to like factor in or have an opinion on,
Hmm.
especially for myself. I mean, we already talked about it. I don't look intimidating, so I think looking kinder is easier if you don't intimidate others.
That is true. Well spoken. I would say I look kind. I'm not very kind to myself at times, but very kind to. I try to be kind to others. I
Oh
think,
yeah, I've definitely experienced so much support from you,
yeah,
especially. So I can definitely vouch that you are a very kind person.
I try. I think compassion is something that doesn't come often, especially in the music industry. So if I can
Oh yeah,
be
definitely.
of light and try to share it, then I will.
I've seen like so many people who are always trying to either one up each other or start beef or start
Yeah,
comparing themselves to others.
everyone thinks it's a competition in the scene. Like,
Yeah, we're all supposed to work together, like encourage
exactly.
each other, empower another, work together. And then there are certain people who are just like extremely toxic or just put others down for the way they are.
Hmm.
Which brings me back to my point with my morals and how people, like certain people who criticize me for being tolerant towards basically anyone.
Yeah. I would say that before it was very easy for me to make music with like anyone. And then as I slowly got fucked over more in the scene, I I do a vetting process now. So if you have good, if you don't have good morals, if you're not a kind person, if you're always like saying some toxic shit online, it doesn't matter how good of music you make. I don't want to work with you.
Yeah, same.
And yeah, very interesting. All right, question 4. Do you think I was popular in school? Explain.
That is a very interesting question. Okay, so probably not for the first couple of years at least. I think once I started going to like high school, my popularity increased at least a little bit with the people that were at least in my age group.
Hmm.
But I've also experienced people talking shit behind my back
Yeah,
who funnily enough later on apologized to me about that.
that's good.
Because it's funny. Those people disliked me and they could never pinpoint why they actually disliked me.
They're like, oh,
I
we
think it
just
was
hate
just
this person.
Yeah, I think it was jealous. I think at least with one person, I'm pretty sure it was jealousy
Yeah.
because I was best friends with a person they really enjoyed their company.
Oh, so they saw you as like a threat.
Yeah, it's basically a competition for, like, if I'm friends with this person, he can't be friends with my best friend or whatever. But it's all good. He apologized to me. I forgave him like a long time ago.
And that's what it all
No hard
it's,
feeling. No
that's what
hard
it's all
feelings.
about, you know? Just forgiveness and moving on.
No hard feelings. But yeah, I definitely think I was a very shy person back then, like much more shy than I am nowadays.
Yeah.
So I don't think I stuck out a lot. But it's not like I didn't have any friends.
That's good. I think friends are always important to have.
Yeah.
Even if some relationships are a little surface level,
Oh yeah,
just
totally.
having
Funnily enough, I'm still in contact with some of those people today.
nice. And those are the connections that last, you know? Like um I was homeschooled my whole life, so I never really had a social circle. I was always kind of just like at home doing what I wanted to. That's why I got into music. And that's how I was able to meet all the producers, all the musicians that I'm friends with now. Um, but it's not easy because I do suffer from like social anxiety, and I was very shy. I still kind of am a little shy sometimes, but I think opening up and just being more personable is is a good thing. Something I'm trying to work on more.
Oh yeah, definitely. I can definitely relate to social anxiety. I don't have it as much anymore, but I'm still a very quiet person in real life sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. You're going to like this next question. Uh,
Okay.
are you a cat or a dog person?
Ooh, I always tend to be a cat person.
Yeah, cats are always nice. I like how they're just there existing and they're cute and they're just like fluffy.
Hmm.
Like like they're just there. Um like I haven't owned any cats, but I did have a dog, and sometimes it would be a little overwhelming.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I was about to say. I think I never had a dog, but I know a couple of people who have dogs, and personally, I think cats are much more manageable than dogs on average.
for sure. But I have a suspicion. I feel like dogs are actual humans that have been like reincarnated, like sent from heaven, because like every dog I've met is just like always wants love, always wants attention, and like they each have their own personalities. I feel like animals might be reincarnated people, but
Are you
it's
sure about that?
just a theory.
Because you are you sure about that? Because you haven't met the dog of my best friend yet.
Oh, what's he like?
Okay, so he's small. He barks a lot, but he's actually a huge coward.
So he
He gets
stands on
he so
business, but he ain't about that shit.
Yeah. So basically, he gets close to you. He barks a lot. So basically, he's like all those UK London fucks who are all up in your face, but when it gets to business, they retreat.
Oh man.
I remember one time this dog was on the balcony, and all my best friend had to do was plug in the water hose, and he just let out a very very tiny water beam. Like it didn't even go like near him. Like it was like 4 meters away, and he ran off. He was like
He's
four
scared
meters above
shitless.
that. Yeah, he was like 4 meter above the water beam that came out of the
Damn.
water hose.
Yeah, it's funny how animals can be. They're very curious.
But yeah, for example, I have a cat as well,
Hmm.
and she's a very laid back cat, but she's also very talkative.
Meow. Always wants food, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
cats will act if you don't feed them for 1 hour. They will act like they're starving.
Yeah, you definitely give me cat vibes for sure.
So you said you're also a cat person.
Uh, I'm an animal person. I love all animals really. Doesn't matter if it's a cat, dog, bird. Um, I don't have any pets, just because of my living situation, but um, I think I might get a cat. You know, something manageable, something easy to take care
Yeah,
of.
I also love all animals, but if, like I said, I think cats are more manageable to have as pets than dogs are because you have to walk your dog all the time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, cats just kind of like lay around. They just do their own
Yeah,
thing.
sometimes you have to clean the litter box or whatever when they shit in there, but or you don't because they go outside. It depends.
It does depend, but in essence, I think it is easier just to maintain than a dog. Cause
Oh yeah,
yeah,
100%.
you gotta walk them, and they eat a whole bunch depending on what you get. Like,
You have to clean them as well if they were outside. For example, I don't know.
gotta bathe them too. Cats just bathe
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
So yeah, nice, nice. All right, question 6. Do I seem like a morning person or a night owl? Why?
That is a very good question. I definitely know that I am a night owl,
Hmm.
but I have no idea if I seem that way.
I feel like all artists, not all, but a good majority of creative people make the best art at night. I don't know. I feel like there's something about the nighttime where it just brings out all the creative energy for me.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the lack of sunlight
Yeah. I'm not a
and
morning
also
person at all.
the internal survival instinct clock because when we were cavemen back then,
Hmm.
you had to be much more alert of danger at night.
That is true. I We are still very primal, um, as humans. Um, I believe that that primal instinct is what kind of drives us to do things. Um,
I've seen a very interesting video about why people in our age group are generally more prone to be night owls, and that has to do with like how humans survived, the Neolithic age.
yeah,
Because on average, people lived in groups. They were around campfires, and the children usually slept closer to the campfire. And when multiple humans are close connected in a certain location, it gives off a strong smell
hmm,
that deters predators because they will think, okay, that is a very strong smell. It smells of food, it smells of humans. So I don't want to go there. And if a predator came near, a human on average during that time, that video explained it really well.
hmm.
All humans in that one settlement that video was talking about were only asleep for 18 minutes
Dang.
combined, like together. So all predators had a time frame of 18 minutes per night to attack the humans
Yeah.
because
Small window.
someone was already like half awake. That is due to how our internal clock just works,
It's very interesting.
and apparently it has to do with something like that. Why
Yeah.
certain people, especially in our age group, are night owls.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know how that video is called, but It's very interesting.
Yeah,
It was an
if
animated
you
one.
can ever find that video, I'd love to watch it.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. See, like for example, like my mom, she's a morning person. Like she's up at like 9 a.m., 8 a.m., cooking breakfast and, taking care of chores. Just like, gosh, like I need at least a 2 or 3 hour window of just like being able to wake up and, get myself
Yeah,
situated to get through the
yeah, I
day.
can relate. So for example, after I wake up, I need like at least 1 hour to get started into the day.
Oh
I
yeah.
need to shower, I need to breakfast, I need to do stuff for myself first, and only then I can get started into the day properly.
Yeah, true. I feel like if I miss out on one of those things, whether that's like brushing my teeth or taking a shower, it kind of will like throw a wrench into the rest of what I have to do for the day.
Yeah,
For sure. So I think routine is
like
very
like
important.
it already became like ritualistic. You can't go on with your day normally if one piece is missing.
Yeah. Or I mean, yeah, or your day is gonna feel like weird
Yeah.
for sure. Well, I think that answers that question. Question number 7. On a scale of 1 to 10, how messy is your room? 1 being cleanest, 10 being a complete disaster.
That is a very difficult question to answer. I would say 5, maybe roughly in the middle. I'm not a very chaotic person. I can be, but at the same time, I mean, that is probably the perfect explanation for all the ADHD that I have.
Yeah,
Like the autism part of me really wants to keep my room clean, and the ADHD part really struggles with it.
really. See, I noticed because like I also have ADHD too. Like I need my workspace to be clean, like tidy. Like I can't work in an environment where like there's like clothes on the floor or like food or drinks left out. I think I also probably have some undiagnosed OCD as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know if it's quite OCD or something to do with autism or if it's just a symptom, but I definitely have something similar, if not OCD even.
Yeah.
So, for example, I get annoyed when everything is aligned in one place, but then one tiny thing sticks out,
Like something's
and I
out of
can't
place or
and I
something.
can't go to sleep until that one thing is fixed.
Yeah. I get the same way too. Uh, like that dream, like when I'm producing music too. Like I'll like just be in my bed, just chilling, trying to sleep, and then I'll realize that I forgot to sidechain something. So I'll have to like wake up, sprint to my computer, pull up FL Studio, and fix whatever my mind was telling me to fix.
That is so bad, but I can relate.
Yeah.
Okay, very little story time. When I had like on the day I had my finals, like literally graduation, like written finals in May, I was working on a track and I could not get it out of my head that something with the transition to the first drop was either missing or wrong. And while I was like writing down things related to like business administration and accounting, like super important stuff for the written finals, I had that thing always in the back of my mind. So that was super distracting, but I managed to do it anyways. And the
Yeah.
first thing that I did when I went home was fix that thing.
Yeah. Good on you. Way to take initiative.
It really bothered me, so you know, I also couldn't have slept if I didn't do that.
Yeah. No, it gets like that where there's like one thing, one or two things that is just like nagging at you, you gotta fix it before you move on to anything else.
Do you also have that? Do you also have the chair? You know what I mean, the chair.
The chair?
Yeah, where you put all your clothes on.
Oh, no, I hang up everything in my closet.
Oh, that is pretty good because I usually pile up all my clothes that I currently am wearing onto a chair.
You don't have a laundry basket?
I do, but that's usually just for like dirty clothes.
Oh, so your clean clothes you put on a chair.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I just like my clean clothes are like hung up in my closet, and then I have a laundry basket for my dirty clothes. I actually just decluttered a lot of stuff from my closet, so I think decluttering is also very good to do from time to time. Just get rid
Oh
of
yeah,
anything
definitely.
that you don't really use or wear. Just donate it. Um, it really frees up more space, and like a clean space will also encourage a clean mind.
Oh
And
yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So, all right, we are almost done with the first level. We got three more. Uh, Question number 8. Do you think plants thrive or die in my care? Explain.
Okay, so I'm a person who hasn't owned many plants like myself. I used to have like a very small potted palm tree, and then I got a second one, and the second one had, I think it was some sort of like lice infestation,
Oh shit.
and that spread from one palm tree to the other, and then both ended up dying as a result.
Damn.
So it wasn't my doing that killed them. It was literally just tough luck.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about getting like a cactus again because those require little to no care.
Yeah, you just have to water it like once every couple weeks and you're good.
Yeah,
A cactus don't even really like I mean they need sunlight, but like you can put it in like a shaded environment too and they'll do fine.
yeah. I mean, cacti are like super survival friendly like
Resilient.
plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um I can answer this question right now. I would definitely forget to water my plants and or like, not put them in sunlight or something. And like it's not something I do on purpose. It's just like me being clumsy. I feel like I would forget.
That is the ADHD.
Yeah. But my mom has a whole garden. She has fruit trees and, all this stuff that she takes care of. And it looks really nice. We have a nice garden. Um, okay. Question number 9. What do you think I'm most likely to splurge on?
What do you mean by splurge on?
Like, what do you like to buy?
Hmm.
If you had like all the money in the world, what would you get?
That is a very, very interesting question. I don't think that one particular thing comes to my mind. Like I'm not a person that, values monetary like equipment to a point of like, yeah, I need that. I'm not a very materialistic person, if that makes sense.
That's funny
But I
because
feel
I
like
am. I'm a very materialistic person.
I feel like if I had to like splurge on anything, it would probably be related to electronic equipment like PC parts, monitors.
I was gonna say I spend a lot on tech. Um, and shit for music too, like cover arts, teaser
Yeah,
videos,
yeah,
anything to really like promote my art. Because, dude, this art shit is not cheap. If you want it done good and want it done right, it can get expensive as fuck. So, usually my paychecks go to like paying my internet bills, and then after I pay my bills, then I will splurge on music shit. Because this is all I do. So,
yeah. It's a little difficult to pinpoint down because, like I said, I don't really view like PCs or anything super materialistic. I view it as sort of like a convenience.
yeah.
Like, if you have a faster PC, it's obviously better than having a slower PC. But you can also work on a slower PC.
Yeah, that is true. Like the PC that I have, it runs, but I need to upgrade because it's been 6 years, and I can't even run like half of the games that I want because it keeps crashing and
Um,
shit. Yeah, yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to get handled.
when you
Just
come
get
over, we can do that.
oh, shit, dude. You know it. All right. Last question of the first level. Do you think I fall in love easily? Why or why not?
I don't think I do. I don't think I do. Especially because real love is so hard to come by. I think in my earlier teenage years, I think I've developed like sort of like little flings quite often, but they weren't ever anything like super serious.
Yeah. It's kind of like one-off sort of
Yeah, it's it's it's
situations.
it's, it's basically just like I want to be friends with that person, but not quite in a relationship. So something like in between that, a little
Yeah.
bit. You know, I don't know. I can't really say that much because I don't think I was a super emotionally mature person in my early teenage years. I think I've matured somewhat late for some reason. I have no idea why. I think I only became really mature for my age when I turned 17 or something like that.
Yeah. No, I can relate to that, dude. I feel like I didn't mature emotionally or mentally until this past year. So I'm at 21 is when I like really started to like learn how to live like an adult. And yeah, no, I would say that love is very hard to come by, like true love.
Yeah,
Especially in relationships nowadays. I feel like it's always a competition. I feel like there's people that want something from you. And I remember I used to be so desperate just to have some kind of love or some kind of connection that I would forfeit my morals. I would forfeit anything that I wanted to do so I could be with someone. And I learned very quickly that that is not the right way to go about it.
yeah, definitely not.
Yeah. Um,
I won't. I won't lie. I've done some things that is like I think it was on the cusp of me from like being 16 to turning towards 17, somewhere in between that, where I've done a couple of things that I wasn't super proud of. But like afterwards, I think I've become a much more mature person and how to like sort of like navigate like my emotions and therefore also tolerating and being around that and you know
absolutely.
managing how to be in love with
Yeah.
a person or trying to find love.
Yeah. And love can get overbearing too. Like,
Oh yeah,
it really
absolutely.
can.
I've gotten to the point where I was like, I'm not going to like, forfeit myself to that person, but I will do anything I can for that person as long
Yeah.
as you're not an asshole to me.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing is people have different boundaries, people have different personalities, different ways of thinking. So it's about compromise at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I can think of I can think of one example where one person was like super close to me, and they confided me in with like all sorts of personal details, and I was always the go-to person when they wanted to vent or anything like that. And I think like that sort of like super close intimate relationship is something that I personally can't imagine, not being part of any romantic relationship
Yeah.
for my future self.
Yeah. I think love, you know, I'm sure we'll all find it one day. But it's important to let it happen naturally.
Oh yeah,
Don't
definitely.
ever try
I'm
to
I'm not
force.
chasing it.
Yeah. Don't ever
I'm
try to
not chasing
chase
it.
it.
I'm not on Tinder. I'm not on any dating platforms. I'm not
Same.
even going outside
Yeah.
trying to talk to people because I think it's just a waste of time. I would rather focus on myself. And when the time comes, it's coming.
Well said. I think you speak for the both of us there. Um, cool. Well, that was the first level. How was that?
That was pretty good.
Yeah. This next level, connection. Now, some of these questions are pretty deep. They can invoke they can be kind of triggering. So we'll just do our best to get through it. All
Sounds
right.
good.
All right, Alex. Question one. What part of your life works and what part of your life hurts?
Ooh, that is a very, very complex question. Okay, so first of all, what part of my life works? I, for example, think that I'm very happy with the person I have personally become. And I'm very proud of myself for the progress that I have made.
That's good.
Especially if I compare myself with the me from like 6 or like 7, 8, 9 years ago. I think I've definitely grown a lot in that regard. I mean, I was like 15 years old 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And so like, from being an overconfident teen who thinks he cracked the code, he understands the entire world, to realizing how little he actually knows over the years. It is a very, very humbling experience, but also like a very eye-opening and very fascinating experience. Like you deal with so many things at the same time, and you make so many new experiences that are like so eye-opening, and it just makes you aware of so many fascinating things around you, like how the world works and how your brain works, how a social system works,
Yeah.
and anything like. I think a big part of that is people with lower emotional intelligence tend to usually look more after themselves only, or the people that are closest to them. Whereas people with higher emotional intelligence don't just look after themselves and the people that are close to them, but rather act out of like what they want for others. Like, for example, if you're a kind person with a high emotional intelligence, you're going to be helping people a lot.
Yeah.
And I
Absolutely.
think something that doesn't work or like hurts in my life is having to deal with things that I haven't quite sorted out yet. I think the best way to describe it would be like since we mentioned cacti before when we were talking about plants, having like a needle stuck in your finger
Hmm.
and you're struggling to like pull it out.
Yeah. No, I get that for sure. Um, I would say a part of my life that works is my music, my art, my relationship with my family, my relationship with my friends, peers. Uh, I I try to be as kind and humble as I possibly can, and it's been working out pretty good for me. I've been learning to practice more gratitude, and yeah, I'd say my life is pretty full in that matter. But a part of my life that hurts is I've made a lot of mistakes, a lot of things that I have a hard time forgiving myself,
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
yeah, it's just about navigating through that trauma and pain. It's not easy, for sure.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely not.
you know, we all have good days, we all have bad days, but um, like looking back, I've only had like mediocre okay days or really shit days. Um, and yeah, no, for sure. I'm still running from my past, most
I
definitely.
can only say the same, yeah. But I'm very happy with how my relationships with people are
Yeah,
coming better and better and are only blossoming more and more
exactly.
the more I age and the more I grow as a person. Because you know, growth just doesn't stop one day. You grow until you die, basically.
Yeah, it's not a linear process for sure. But I think every day that we're here on this planet is improvement. And yeah,
Yeah.
all right. What is your mother's name and the most beautiful thing about her?
Oh. Hmm. Okay, so first I would start with what is the most beautiful thing about her? I think the most beautiful part about her is how kind and caring she is and how supportive my mother has always been of basically anything I've done. For example, I'm moving right now
Hmm.
and she has been such a help in organizing basically 70% of it,
Yeah.
if not more.
So she's very supportive.
I couldn't do that without her, especially because I deal with a lot of my own things and I tend to get more easily overwhelmed than she does because I'm very autistic in that regard. And yeah, so yeah, my mom's first name is Sabine.
Sabine. It's a very pretty name. And I can tell that she loves you a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's always good to have supportive parents.
And
Um,
I'm even if I sometimes struggle to show it, I am very grateful for that.
yeah. No, I think having loving parents is something to be very grateful for. And because I've met people that don't have that support, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
uh, it's
definitely.
it's very humbling to know that I do. Um, I would say my mom's name is Maria, and the most beautiful thing about her is her relentless love and protection for me. Um, just to give you guys an example, I was homeless in Nashville, Tennessee. I basically ran away and I got deep into drugs. And while I was in the hospital recovering from my suicide attempt in August, my mom flew my dad out to Nashville and we packed up all my studio stuff and we moved back to California. Um, And to this day, like, she didn't have to do that. She, I know, knowing her, she didn't like have the resources herself to save my life, and she went out there and did. And now I'm back home. I'm sober. I'm living the best life I can. And I feel like she really saved me from myself.
Can we just get a round of applause for your mom?
No. Yeah, she's a saint. I love her a lot. Sometimes she could be a little overstimulating. You know, she's always like, she's a workaholic, you know? But
Yeah, I think parents tend to be a little bit overbearing for their own children.
yeah, for sure. But, you know, it's all love out here.
Yeah, they always mean well in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, always looking out for us. All right. Question 3. What would your younger self not believe about your life today?
That is a very interesting question. I think my younger self wouldn't believe a couple of things. One, that I'm still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And two, that I actually have a lot of contacts and a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about like just music, related to anything. Of course, some of my best friends are, of course, other artists. But I'm not talking about like I'm friends with artist XY and they're like that and that well known or whatever. I'm just talking about, you know, the amount of like people I have that I can rely on
Yeah. Having
in dire
that
situations.
social support.
Yeah, I
That's good.
think that is something my younger self wouldn't believe. Or one thing my younger self also wouldn't believe is how much more confident I've become in my own abilities,
Yeah.
especially in regards to maybe even art or like just anything outside of art too. Because if I look at my 14-year-old self, I didn't make music back then,
Mm-hmm.
so he wouldn't know I've started making music, but he would know that I've started to become more confident in other aspects. So I look at it that way, in that sense. What about
Damn.
you?
Um, I never thought that I would be doing music. Never thought that I'd have a record label. Never thought that I would be surrounded by so many talented musicians and artists. Um, yeah. Also that I would still be alive here. Um, I've been through a lot of trauma and a lot of unfortunate things, and yeah, I'm just very grateful that I'm here, still creating my art, still talking to the same people that I've always talked to, and
I mean, yeah, how long have we been talking to each other? 6 years at this point?
about 6.5. Yeah, yeah, we've been friends for quite some time, and
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah, very grateful to have you too, man.
I'm
Um,
also very grateful.
oh. All right, this next question is a good one. Do you think the image you have matches the image people see you as?
I think it's somewhat accurate, but not always. The way my brain works most of the time is when I do music is I don't see myself as a quote unquote musician. I see myself as a storyteller most of the time.
Hmm.
Like I always have like one thing in mind and I always try to put it like down as like, music.
Yeah,
Like how some people have a scene in their head and put it onto paper as a painting, for example, like they envision a landscape and they are just like painting it. or how some people are envisioning a story and they write it down as words. I'm envisioning a story and I'm writing it down as music,
Yeah.
for example. That is how I usually go about that. And I think that sometimes gets lost in translation, which obviously is fine. It happens, but it is not always apparent. So I think that is where the image differs a little bit. I always consider myself a storyteller over a musician personally. I don't know if that comes off as arrogant. I hope not. But that is how I personally see myself.
Yeah.
Because I personally view my music catalog as always like some sort of diary, like a personal diary. So, yeah, I think that is not always apparent. If that makes sense.
That does. I think that music, in one way or another, is about telling a story. It's about expressing who you are. And the image that I have, it's very flawed. I'm not like this perfect person. I've dealt with self harm for years, drug abuse for years. Um, I was tortured and sexually abused. So I'm. I don't know if I'm hoping that people see me as, you know, someone that is trying to pick up the pieces of that. Um, and it's not easy because I'm having to deal with putting so much trauma and pain into my craft, into my art,
Yeah,
and
it's not always easy. For example, you have to be able to like sort of translate your experiences into sound design and arrangement.
exactly. It can be tough too because then your brain's also telling you like, is this good enough? Like, do I have to add more?
Oh yeah, or for
Shit like
example,
that.
is this conveying the
Is
emotions
this
well enough?
conveying? Yeah. Is
This is something that I, for example, struggle a lot with,
yeah.
especially during the 2021-2022 era of my
Hmm.
music, where I went through a lot of hardships and I wanted to convey that into music in a very depressing way.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure, oh yeah, does this sound depressive enough?
I think you're doing a fantastic job though. I feel like I am
I
too.
think you're doing a great job as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, and I feel like us as artists, a lot of people have this notion that, we're successful, have a bunch of friends, have a bunch of girls, like always living the rock star lifestyle, which is true, but to an extent. And I tend to be mostly isolated. Um, I don't really like, I have friends, I have very great friends, and I have very great art, and that's something I can be proud of.
What do you mean you don't make 5 digits per month and don't have like three
Dude, I'm a
sidekicks?
mandatory producer. We ain't making shit out here. I mean, we're making some money, which is good. Because all the music, all the money that I get, I donate it, so it's going to a good cause. Um, but
I
yeah,
just want to give you big props on that.
thanks. Yeah, I think it's very important to give back when you can. Um, all right, moving on. What title would you give this chapter in your life?
Healing, probably healing. I mean, I already have like some sort of chaptering system for my own music.
Mhm.
I don't know if people are aware of that. Like right now, I am in chapter 2.
Oh yeah, you definitely have eras.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for example, my old. I don't know if people remember this about my old profile picture, but it was like very, very pink coded. I have no idea. I have no idea if people remember that. If you do remember that,
I do.
write a comment
Yeah.
or something like that you do remember it. But anyways, that was basically the first chapter of AndoraX. So the first chapter was like finding my own identity
Yeah.
and finding myself, basically self discovery. And in finding myself, something inside me like broke off. Like I've lost my wings were clipped, and my image that I had of myself shattered. So this chapter is about healing from that, of dealing with loss, dealing with negative emotions. So yeah, I would say this chapter would be healing.
That's a very in-depth answer. um, I would say same. I just got out of the psychiatric institution because I was dealing with a lot of dark thoughts, a lot of bad feelings, and I've been through too much for my age, to say the least. So uh, I'm at a point now where I'm just ready to be happy, to make artwork that makes me happy, and just to move on from years of abuse and trauma. So I would also say
Yeah.
that I'm in kind of in that healing stage too. Um, like I remember
I
I
th-
was so obsessed
oh
with
yeah,
like
sorry.
I was so obsessed with chasing this dragon of like living every day like it was my last. And it caused me to be really reckless and make a lot of stupid decisions. And now I feel like, hey, I have tomorrow to look forward to. I have the day after that to look forward to. Like my life isn't going to end tonight. So I've been really just trying to take a step back and just appreciate the smaller things in my life, for sure.
Very, very well said.
Thank
I
you.
do also think that moving on from like negative emotions is also a very big part of this chapter of my life. Like, for example, how you were abused and all that. I was manipulated for over a year
Yeah.
during my absolute low point in life. And during that time period, I felt like I couldn't rely on my own judgment anymore, and instead had to rely on the judgment of the person that ended up manipulating me.
Yeah.
And that ended up costing me a great deal. And I've basically it's gotten to the point where I basically put my life into before and after that thing happened,
Hmm.
which was the culmination of set manipulation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is one way in which I'm healing as well, which since last year I've also started making a lot more progress since I've also gone to like, therapy and all that, and I've confronted my demons about that. And I've also found out the truth, which also helped me, make better amends with everything that went down back then.
That's good. I believe that, we all deserve some form of closure, some form of peace through whatever it is that uh, people may be dealing with.
Yeah, it's not easy. Some days the memories, or let's just say the vibes, come back and you feel like you've made little to no progress, which is not true, but your brain tries to tell you that.
Yeah. Always tries to put you down, which
Because in
is,
the moment, it feels that way in the moment, but
yeah,
deep down, it's not true.
yeah.
It does
No,
get better.
it does. And
People always say time heals all wounds, and that is true, but only under the right circumstances.
yeah, and it is about, putting in the work for yourself to want to get better and to, you know, have like have some sort of acceptance
Oh,
too.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. That was a good question. Um, Next question. What are you more afraid of, failure or success?
Oh, 100% failure.
Hmm.
I I don't know if this relates to a lot of people, but I have a very, very, very special relationship with failure.
Yeah.
For example, I have either from myself or from other people, I got a lot of expectations from them, like not nowadays, but during my time as a teenager, be it in school, having to perform, having to get good grades and whatever. And when I started to get in a very bad spot mentally, because I was overwhelmed with like school and personal life and whatnot, and my grades started to drop as a result. And some teachers started to notice, and they went up to me and said, "Why are your grades so bad? You used to be so good. So what happened?" And the thing that my brain started to hyper focus on was, you used to be good, so why are you bad now? And I figured out through therapy that my brain really didn't like that confrontation. So it focused on the how do you avoid that confrontation? And so it focused on, oh yeah, if you don't want the confrontation, don't fail. So don't be a failure. Don't fail. Just put in the effort. If you're one of the best or the best overall, then nobody can do anything towards you. You're
Yeah.
good. You're free of criticism or anything like that. And the worst part about that is, at some point, since this was 2019, it also started to manifest into my music at some point. So I'm pretty sure Extender is my most well-known track. So when that track became popular in Hydraulic, I started to hyper focus on that. So it was like basically, oh yeah, this track is doing good. So now people will have a certain expectation of me to continue being better and pushing up more and more, which eventually led to me developing a burnout from Minatory, which is
Yeah.
why I haven't done it properly in years. Fun fact, by the way, that is the actual reason. I'm not even kidding. So if you're wondering, why hasn't this guy made like proper Deathstep or Minatory in years? Here's your answer. It stems from a past trauma relating to school,
Yeah.
and that also accompanied me throughout college. It
Mhm.
led me to being very aware, but I also couldn't stop it because it was like that anchored in my head, in my brain. So I knew what was happening. I knew why I felt that way, but I couldn't stop it.
Yeah. And it was
So
it was just easier for you just to just shut that part off.
yeah, so I basically just like grinded college basically, and all my grades were for the most part extremely good. Like I never had an F throughout the entirety of college
Yo, round of
because I didn't want
applause. Holy
I did
shit.
I didn't want to experience that failure. So
Academic
yeah, most of
wizard over here.
most of my grades were straight up A's or B's because I always like grinded down on that.
Yeah.
So just so because I wouldn't experience failure, even though the threat of someone telling you you're not good enough
Hmm.
or you're not doing good enough anymore wasn't there anymore.
Yeah. No, that it's funny how it works out like that too. Because I would say that I'm not afraid to fail because I feel like I've failed so many times, and when I fail, I always try to learn what I did wrong and what I can improve on. Um, but success is something that doesn't come to me easily either. Um, and I mean, I guess I've succeeded at what I wanted to do with my vision and with my branding and with my art, but it's higher stakes too when you have when you succeed so many amount of times and you're always wondering like, okay, when's the next failure going to come? um
Yeah,
yeah.
For example, I don't know if I have mentioned it, probably not, but every time I got a good grade in college, I always felt like the more often I got good grades, the more people expected me to keep that streak rolling. So it felt like every amazing grade I had was like making a deal with the devil. I had to keep it going, so if I slowed down at some point, I felt like I was disappointing people.
I see.
So it's like basically success and failure were part of the same coin. They were just like on the opposite sides.
Yeah. And it's
Every
very hard to
time,
navigate through that too.
yeah, every time I was like successful, I felt like I was like gambling with, can I afford what I perceive as failure?
Yeah.
And that eventually manifested as perfectionism and inferiority complex at the same time. If it felt like I was underperforming, I would always tell myself, "Oh yeah, of course you're having the worst result possible." Even just like not regarding academics, but like music or life in general. Like you're doing the worst because of course you are. You're bad at everything.
Yeah.
Or perfectionism, like I have to be much better than everyone in order to be accepted the way I am. That is how it manifested for me in my case.
I feel like as artists, especially, perfectionism is something that we all deal with. Just trying to make our art perfect and as perfect as we can imagine it to be. And yeah, no, it can get overwhelming for sure. But yeah, man, dude, like I'm really proud of you for just staying in school, getting those grades up. Like it's gonna take you places.
Yeah, I mean, I've graduated high school and all, and now I've graduated like business college. So now I have
Yeah,
an academic degree in like companies and businesses and
was
all
gonna
that.
start being his own entrepreneur, CEO.
I actually can do that because I've graduating business college in my country is basically a substitute for passing that entrepreneurship exam.
Dude, right on. That's so fucking cool, bro. Like, dude, I tried going to college and I just couldn't. Like, I was so pressured with getting good grades that I just burnt myself out.
Yeah, I almost also fell victim to that. It's definitely not for everyone, and I wouldn't blame anyone for not going to college.
Yeah.
But you have to be like mentally prepared to,
No, you got to be built
you
for
know,
it, for sure.
yeah. It's definitely brought its own challenges and definitely brought some issues back. Like I said, from past traumas, past issues like from way back ago. But yeah,
Nice. Well, moving on. Question 8, I think. What is the most unexplainable thing that's ever happened to you?
that is a very interesting question. I have no idea actually.
I
I think the most unexplainable thing was I previously mentioned that I was manipulated for over a year. And I think the most unexplainable thing about that is how easy it felt for me to basically lose all sort of like agency over my own decisions. Like in hindsight, that really, really surprised me because, of course, once it happens, you see the pattern and you can prevent it. But in hindsight, knowing that how I was manipulated, I'm pretty sure that. Actually, let me look it up how it's called. I'm pretty sure you know what DARVO stands for. It's basically a common manipulation strategy, and when I eventually confronted my manipulator about it, initially I got a load of DARVO, which stands for Deny, Attack, and Reverse Victim and Offender. So basically, what they did was they made it about themselves initially,
Yeah.
and about how they were also not in a great situation, but in the end, they were involved with one of the biggest, I'm just going to call it tragedies of my life. That
Hmm.
is, or the single biggest negative event in my entire life. So, yeah, I feel like that was the most unexplainable thing that ever happened to me, was the manipulation itself.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. When you get manipulated too, it's like it can feel like you're going crazy.
Yeah, you get into a low spot and you're clamoring to anything you can get your hands on, even if it's false hope,
Yeah.
or someone trying to give you hope, and then that hope becomes something far more dangerous.
Don't know what the craziest thing that ever happened to me was. One of one of them. Something unexplainable. I still can't explain it to this day. Um, August 17th of 2025, I decided to attempt suicide. And I ended up ingesting rat poison and drain cleaner, and I slit both of my wrists. And I remember being carried out by the ambulance, and that was it. I After that, I was I basically went to heaven. I was like in a field, um, and I just heard this voice tell me, like, it's not your time to go yet. And it was really surreal. I ended up waking up in the hospital, and the doctors, they pumped my stomach, and they said that I should have brain damage from my suicide attempt. Like, I should not be alive because I was clinically dead for a minute and a half. And
Damn.
I still can't explain it, but I'm here, and I'm still me. Um, I think that there was definitely a higher power calling, uh, which is crazy because I'm not a religious person. Like, religion isn't something that has been in my life, and ever since that experience, I feel like I see the world in such a different light. Um, I I see energy, and there are angels and demons that are manifested in this existence. Um, and I'm just really happy that I'm still alive, being able to share my story on that. But yeah, I that's something that I can't explain. Um, but oh well,
I
fuck
mean,
it, we ball.
even if you want to explain it outside of like a supernatural thing, even just psychology wise, I think it would be extremely difficult to like break down.
Yeah. Um,
So all I can say is praise Kirby Tony.
yes, he is the true Lord and Savior that saved me. Um, Question number 9. If you have, when was the moment you realized you weren't invincible?
I think it was. Uh, I think it was around the time. I've been humbled and humbled before, but I think the first proper time where I really got a very, very direct gut punch in there that really stuck with me was when I first applied for a job in 2021. And it was like super shady, and it basically ended up being, a scam. And I almost fell for it. I almost participated in it. And figuring out that it was all a scam, that really messed me up.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't just want to get a job for myself, for just myself, but for another person at that time, so that I could be there for them. And I had a really, surprisingly, I had a really tough time making the call of, either I can fuck over others, or I can do the morally right choice and just not participate. And I ended up doing the latter.
Dude, right on. And it's very hard to resist temptations like that too. So I'm happy you did.
So, but yeah, finding that out was like a real gut punch, because, I had to make the choice of like trying to help myself and another person that I really, really cared for, or doing what was right.
Yeah,
Because in the end, it's a lose-lose situation.
that is true.
And realizing that made me feel like super vulnerable, because it was probably one of the most single things that made me feel like I didn't have a way out of there where I didn't lose anything from it. I felt humiliated. I felt like I had wasted a lot of time. And I felt like I have lost so much resources and planning that went into it. And it was devastating. It made me feel extremely vulnerable because, like I said, I had made plans, I've made ideas for everything during that time period. And then it all came crashing down, and I could start basically from zero all over again.
Yeah. And it's really hard to, build yourself back up after taking a hit like that,
Yeah, I had to find another way.
Yeah.
I didn't, but then came another gut punch, which I won't be talking about now. Maybe later down the line, depending on what the other questions are. But I'm sure I'll get to talk about it another time. I don't want to talk for too long.
Hey, bro. Well, I'm proud of you, and just keep doing you. There was one moment in my life where I felt like my life was going to end, and it wasn't on my terms. I'm not going to go too much into detail exactly like how it came to happen, but I survived an attempted murder or assassination, whatever you want to call it, and I was in a 90-mile-per-hour car chase with this guy, and he ended up firing 2 shots into the back of our car, and we got pit maneuvered. He came out, he drew his weapon, and that fight or flight, like that primal instinct, just like came out, and I ended up, we ended up calling the police, and I had to protect myself in the way that I can, and it really put everything into perspective. That there's always a bigger fish. There's always, like even if you are safe, it can be unsafe, no matter where you are. And yeah, it's still crazy that I survived all this shit, dude. Like I should not be here, but I am, and I think
I
it's all for.
definitely
a
I
reason.
definitely know the story you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think you've told me more in detail in private.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy to think about that. Even the smallest encounter, or even the dumbest situations, or even doing nothing, can put your life in danger. Because technically, the chance of any of us dying right now through a heart attack is not zero.
Hmm. That is true. I think, like we all have a time when we're gonna depart from this life, but it's not up to us to decide when or how. And to have someone else possibly end my life, that was a reality check for sure.
Yeah, and if you're scared of like death in very mundane ways, I recommend don't watch the Final Destination movie series.
Oh yeah,
That
dude.
is only going to give you anxiety spikes.
That movie's those series are crazy. I'm telling you. Like, I wonder where they like come up for the script for that shit.
I have no idea. I don't really want to know because yeah, some of yeah, I don't even know. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, any
It's be, it's
case,
it's some in some cases it's best not to dwell on something.
yeah, that is true. Because I dwelled on this situation for years, and it just put me in such a bad place. And just like learning to let that shit go, learning to move on, make better choices. It's a lot healthier mindset.
I'm just saying that some people that I've talked to that watched, I think it was the first Final Destination movie, were definitely not looking at log trucks the same anymore.
Yeah, dude. Telling you. Um. All right. Well, moving on. This is the last question of the second chapter of this, oh, the second level. And that's how are you, really?
I think for the most part I'm doing okay.
Hmm.
I mean, right now I'm doing great. I of course have stuff to worry about, and there's always something in the back of my mind that is bothering me, that is always going to be, some sort of like negative thing, even if it's tiny. But for the most part, I'm okay. Like there are always some things that could be better, and I'm aware of that. Especially on days where my mental health is taking a hit for whatever reason. Maybe be it because something triggered me or reminded me of a past event that I didn't take too well, or any of those likes.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm content with who I am, and I can say I'm mostly proud of myself.
Good, man. You should be. And if anyone hasn't told it to you today yet, I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of anyone who is watching this.
Yeah, exactly. Be proud of yourself. And just learn to love yourself a little bit. I think that's what it's all about. I'm doing better. Uh, I was in a pretty dark place, I can't lie, a month ago. And I ended up calling an ambulance to take me to a psychiatric institution because, with everything that I've seen and been through, I just needed professional help. And now I'm in therapy, I have medication, um, I get to go to group therapies too every day, and it's been really healing for me. And yeah, just happy to so grateful to be in this process of recovery.
Yeah, it's important, and it's important to mention seeking help does not make you weak, and it does
And
not make you less of a person.
seeking help takes courage. It really does. Especially with how stigmatized mental health is these days. Like, I feel like it's easy to bottle shit up and keep all of that
Yeah,
shit.
if you show any sort of emotion, then you're not a man anymore.
Yeah, you're perceived as like weak or flawed, but
You're a beta male.
you're not alpha enough. But
No,
no,
alpha isn't even enough right now. I think people are mainly talking about like being sigma males or that
sigma males. Oh my gosh, bro, I
whatever
can't.
shit they're talking about.
I
But
cannot
yeah,
do that.
taking initiative to tackle your problems and issues, all that takes a lot of courage.
It does,
And
and it's scary too. It's not.
yeah, I think people tend to underestimate the effort and the like mental place you need to be in to actually start changing things
Yeah,
a lot of the times.
yeah, dude. Like, and I've seen the repercussions of what happens if you don't get help. It can lead to some very dark places. So
Yeah, definitely.
I encourage anyone that's reading this or listening to this to, just find happiness and be themselves through it.
Yeah, because I've also been one of those people. I've always told myself, yeah, whatever, I don't need therapy, I can sort it out on my own.
Yeah.
And I felt so much better after I actually went to therapy for the first time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a lifesaver. 100%. I wish I was in therapy years ago. And
Oh, I wish I would have started much earlier with it as well. But I always, like I just said, I always told myself, I can sort it out on my own.
yeah.
Maybe I could have, maybe not. But, it's always easier if you get help, even if you can't deal with it alone.
Yeah. No, asking for help is huge. And yeah. All right. Well, that is the last question for the second level. I was thinking we could take a 10-minute break, kind of just to rest and digest a little bit before we move on to the third level, which is reflection.
Sounds good.
All right. Start recording. Okay. Everything looks good. Perfect. So we are just gonna wrap up this last level, and we'll close it out.
Sounds good.
All right. So this level is called reflection, and there's some good questions in here. Starting with question 1. What do you recommend I let go of, if anything?
I think I should let go of things that slow me down,
Yeah.
that I know slow me down, or like drag me down, because I realize way too many times that I am way too kind and tolerant of things that actually end up harming me, or keeping people around me that I know aren't really good for me.
Yeah. And it's not easy to let go of that, but
Yeah,
I
especially if they've been a big part of your life prior, and once you find out this person is not who I thought they were.
yeah. No, that's well said. Great, well said. I think I just need to let go of all this trauma and just being wrapped up in it. It hasn't. I'm 22. I have a whole life ahead of me. I'm ready to be happy, and just not letting the weight of my past affect me anymore. But it's hard. It's not easy.
No, if it was easy, then there wouldn't be a need for psychiatrists, for example.
That is true. We wouldn't be making this video if it was easy.
Oh yeah.
All right, question 2. What do you admire most about me?
You mean about the other person or about
yourself.
myself?
Yeah.
Okay. I think what I admire most about myself is that for some reason, that no matter how bad my life gets, my sense of humor has never changed.
That is
Like,
true.
somehow that is the one thing that has survived everything.
Yeah, dude, I think humor is great. It can really pick us up in tough situations, tough times. Like, even just a simple smile or laugh can make my day. And you do that pretty well. So,
Thank you.
yeah, just keep
I
being
try.
yourself. And your goofy little self, dude.
I think what I also really admire about myself is my resilience, and I hope that doesn't sound stuck up, but I also really admire that I developed the morals that I have now, like that moral standard
Mm-hmm.
that I always try to have.
Yeah, dude, because, like, morals, if you don't have them, like, come on. Like, what are you living life for?
Yeah, for example, like I try to be the most tolerant person that I can be. I always try to look inwards and reflect a lot. Like, I don't want to be stuck in one space, like mental space, for too long. I always want to evolve. I always want to expand my mindset. I always want to expand my knowledge about how the world works. You know, like I'm a very curious I'm a very curious person by nature.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is one part that I very much admire about myself.
Good, man.
And not all people see it that way. Like, I've been criticized for being the way I am, but that's fine. Some people will fuck with it, some people don't. It's, in the end, their call to make. I'm not letting people stay if they don't want to.
Yeah.
And
it's
I'm
not
not forcing them.
It's not their say either. Like, if someone doesn't fuck with you, they're just not meant to be in your life.
Yeah, I mean, they can stay in my life and change so that I can welcome them in.
Yeah.
Or they can just like leave. Like, the world is so complex and people have so many differing opinions, and some just don't work together that well, and for the most part that is completely fine.
Yeah, it is. The world is it can be very chaotic, and just trying to find yourself and be at peace with yourself through it
Yeah,
is what matters.
I mean, it can be very hostile too, so
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that part too deeply, but I always try to stay away from hostility and be as positive as I can be towards others, at least.
Exactly.
That is why I always try to keep that in mind with my own community, with my own label, and with how I am building up everything that I create. I always try to leave toxicity out of it, and yeah, I think that reflects my morals and my mindset pretty well, and that is something that I've come to admire over the years.
Good, man. You should be proud of yourself for that, because a lot of people have a hard time with that too.
Thank you.
I would say what I admire about myself the most is my creativeness and my artistic capabilities.
Oh, 100%.
Even throughout, music has always been in my life, through good moments, through bad moments. It's always given me structure. And yeah, I'm just going to be making music till the day I die.
I think I've already told you this in private before, but the way I compare your style of music to others is, if I look at other miniature producers, it sounds like you're getting slapped in the face.
Yeah.
While your style of Minotaur sounds like
It draws you
you're
in.
getting a nice splash of cool water in your face, but it
Yeah.
hits as hard as a brick.
Yeah. No, I would say like I'm always trying to evolve, always trying to create, always trying to find new ways to push myself in my sound, and I'm very proud of that. I think more artists should be pushing themselves too.
I think so too.
Yeah. All right. Based on what you learned about me, does my social media reflect who I am? Why or why not?
Currently, yes, but that didn't used to be the case a lot of the time. In past years, definitely, because I've been more outspoken about my personal opinions and morals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always try to keep that in mind. Some people always try to keep, like, their music and their personality separated, which is fine. Like, they use their art and their, creative persona as two different personalities. Like, there's the artist and then there's the person behind the artist.
Yeah.
But for me, in my case, I am AndoraX. Like, I am inseparable from the artist that I am.
Same.
Like, AndoraX is me and Alex is AndoraX.
Yeah.
And
It's
the
one
other way
entity.
around. Yeah. Not like, for example, if you look at, for example, maybe this is a bad comparison, but if you look, for example, at Sudden Death, you have Danny, the person behind Sudden Death,
And
and
then
the
you have
persona
sudden
Sudden Death.
death. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Oh,
I've always made, at least in the last couple of years, I've never made that distinction between the artist and the person behind the artist. Like, those have fused over time, and now they're basically inseparable. So yeah, the way I present myself online is definitely the way I am in real life as well.
I think you
So
speak
if
for the
you're
both of us.
so if you come up to me in real life, expect me to behave the same way you're hearing right now.
Yeah. And that's with compassion and just kindness, which I love to see. Like, bro, I just gotta say, like, you've been so great to have on here. Like, you're just so personable. You understand your emotions really well. And, like, I cannot wait to actually fly to Austria to hang out with you. That's gonna be
I appreciate that a
huge.
lot, and I have to tell you that you are a very, very relatable person, and you're just a great guy to hang out with.
Thanks. You know,
And
we keep it real out here.
I think if a lot of people were like you, I think the world would be a kinder place.
You know, I'd hope so. I think we all just have to try in our own ways to make the world a kind place.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say my social media, like based off of everything that I've shared today, it can be more. I would say it reflects who I am, but it doesn't explain a lot because I just post music.
Mhm.
On my stories, I'm a lot more personable. I share a lot of personal details, and I also see myself as one entity. It's not just Muha and then Jared. It's me, and it works both ways too.
I think you're in a somewhat different spot than me, though, because, for example, if I look at your Instagram, you have Muha Music, and then you have Muha Personal.
Yeah, and I never post anything on my personal. I have to start posting more.
Yeah, but I just wanted to point it out. Like,
Yeah,
technically you do have two different accounts where you can achieve that.
I
I mean,
do.
I do too. I do too. I have AndoraX Music and I also have AndoraX Private,
Hmm.
but I never really do anything with my private account. So yeah, we're probably both in the same boat there in regards to that.
Yeah, man. Um, I think social media too is like so hyped up. Like, everyone's
Yeah.
just like trying to feed this algorithm, and it's making their artwork like slop, because they're just trying to push it out.
One thing I
Whereas
need to give social media credit for is that it's really great for meeting new people.
it is. Absolutely. Especially if you're an artist, dude. Like, most of my connections are through Instagram. Like, I'm always just like trying to find new people to talk to, people that make cool art, whether that's music or graphic design, or poems or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
I
hell, I don't even care if I'm going off a tangent here a little bit, but I don't care. I need to share the story.
go for
So
it.
you know Dolphin, right?
Yeah, I did. My boy.
The way I met Dolphin initially is so funny because I got sent. I think it was a screenshot, or like I got mentioned. No, I got tagged in the story by Zapta,
Yeah.
who found a comment by Dolphin under a random, I think it was a post about rhythm on Instagram. And in this post, Dolphin mentioned that he still listens to Extender,
Dude,
or
he
that
made
Extender
a
is
he
one
made
of.
a extender remix, which is
I
fucking
know, I know,
fire.
I know. But in this comment, he pointed out that he listens to Extender,
Dude.
and Zapta found that comment, took a screenshot of it, tagged me in his story, and that is how I became aware of Dolphin in the first place. And that was, funnily enough, before even you met him.
Yeah. And Seth, if you're watching this, you're a real one. We love you.
You're a real one. I love you, Seth.
I'm gonna,
You're a
I'm,
very cool person.
I'm definitely gonna send this once this whole episode is, processed and ready to go. I'll make sure I send it to him.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's honestly, Seth. If you see this, you're such a great person, and I love you to death. You're a real one. You're such a homie.
Such a homie. Zapta too. He's a homie as well.
Zapta to Tom, if you see this,
We
I
love
love
you.
you to death, man. You're one of my absolute day ones, and I can't be great more than like I can't even show my gratitude to you for everything you've done for me over the years, and to all the people you've introduced me to, and all hell, you've introduced me to long lost music, and if you didn't do that, I would have never started making wave music in 2020. So you're a big reason as to why I still make music.
It's important to have good homies like that in your life.
Shout out to the entire Fever Dream gang as
Shout
well if you're
out.
already at it.
Yeah. You know it. All right, next question. Do you believe everyone has a calling? If so, do you think you've found yours?
I think everyone has a calling, but probably not in the way most people think.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's something that you have to not just discover, but create for yourself.
Exactly. That's well said.
I don't think I was born into this world to do one specific thing. I think that would feel, at least in my head, somewhat restrictive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know how in some religious worldviews you have a purpose that you're born with, and you have to achieve that purpose.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know why, it sounds somewhat, like I previously said, restrictive. I feel like, in a way, that my head always puts that, it feels like I'm put in a box that I can't escape from.
It kind of
So I always
confines
try,
you. For
yeah,
sure.
which is something I don't like. Which is why I've made so many different genres over the years. Fun fact. But yeah, I think the calling you have is the one that you create for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you're not born to do anything. Technically, you only live to die at some point. So you have to make what works for you. in that time that you're alive.
Yeah. I think it's all about finding happiness, just doing what you love, doing what makes you happy. And it doesn't have to be through art, it could be through anything. Like, I never saw myself as a music producer, dude. I wanted to go into marine biology and like marine
That is
conservation.
fun. That is literally so cool,
Yeah.
honestly. Like,
But
marine biology sounds sick, by the way.
yeah, no, it was very fascinating for me as a child, but I knew I didn't like have the academic like drive to major in that, and I just somehow found music instead, and that's just what called me. Like, I remember listening to the very first Tear Out song I ever listened to was Chronomical's remix of Pressure by Code Pandorum. And I heard
Mhm.
that song and I knew, I was like, yep, this is exactly what I want to do with the rest of my life. And I just pursued it.
Oh, I remember how I got into music. I remember how, for example, so my dad had those CDs back then. They were like trance CDs, like 90s trance, like
Yeah.
dream trance or like hard trance.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
those super uplifting trance melodies you had in the 90s.
Yeah.
And, you know, me and my brother being kids, we eventually found those CDs and we had a CD player, so we stole them and just like put them inside the CD player. And when my dad found out, he showed us more and more. So that was basically my introduction to music.
Dude. Right on.
I It was 90s trends, and as a 2000 as like a kid that was born in the 2000s,
Hmm.
that sounds kind of like surreal that I was introduced to music that came out before I was alive.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I
crazy how we
remember,
can.
for example, oh, how are they called? I think. Oh yeah, they're called Cosmic Gate. I have no idea if you've heard of them, but they're like a trance group.
Oh, I'm gonna listen to some of this after we wrap up, for
Oh
sure.
yeah, Cosmic Gate, The Wave. That is one track that I definitely remember, and it was released in, I think, 1997
Dang. Yeah, that's before my
or
time.
somewhere around that time.
Dude, and I think like of all the synths that they had to use and shit, like they didn't have FL Studio back then.
No,
Like they
it
had
was
to get
entirely different.
creative.
For example, I haven't. This is another small tangent, but if you watch or like research how, for example, an artist like Burial started making his music, or Aphex Twin,
Mhm.
you're going to discover some wild methods.
Yeah. No, the most like unorthodox way of producing for sure.
Yeah, I know some people that started producing with Audacity.
Damn. Yeah, dude, I know people that like started recording just shit on their phone and like throwing it into like virtual DJ and shit. Like,
Yeah, or I don't know, GarageBand. For example, Rihanna's track "Umbrella" has a drum loop that is a stock loop in GarageBand.
damn. I did not know that. It's pretty sick. Um, let's see. One, two, three, four. We got three more questions to get through, and then we will
All
wrap
right.
this up. Question 7. How can you become a better person?
I think the best way to become a better person is to, I don't know, somewhat take in your environment and your surroundings. Pay attention to how people perceive you and how you perceive those people. Like, for example, if people that you think negatively about start agreeing with things that you put out, then maybe this is not the way you should go.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's not the best, like, in your own interest to go down that path.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you don't like something about someone, and then you're starting to, I don't know, maybe agree more on that. Like, I have no idea. For example, you think, okay, this person is racist, but I'm starting to see more and more of their angle, and I kind of agree with their worldview more and more. And maybe that is a sign that you're starting to subconsciously become racist.
Yeah.
So it's always important, at least in my view, to be mindful of who you are as a person, how people perceive you, and how to take in the values that others give you on your way.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. Treat others the way you want to be treated, basically.
Yeah.
And also put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Oh,
Because,
yeah, that is. You've said it so much better than I did.
yeah,
But yeah, put yourself in the shoes of others. You don't know what the other person is thinking.
exactly. Or what
And
they've been through.
oh yeah,
And
100%.
while it may not be an excuse, I don't think that a fucked up childhood or past excuses you of doing wrong. Because wrong is wrong. But it definitely helps to get more insight and be like, okay, well, I can see why this person is the way they are, or how they can treat other people based off of the way that they've been treated in the past.
Definitely. I'd also give one more advice to people. Don't be like too pathologizing towards others, or don't be the internet therapist. Like, don't diagnose people with shit because you think they have it. Like,
Yeah.
even if a person is acting or showing signs of narcissism, doesn't mean they're a narcissist.
No, not always. And we can only perceive what we can, and you know, yeah,
Don't do to others what you don't want others to do to you. So if you see someone act like an asshole and act narcissistic, don't assume they're a narcissist.
yeah.
Keep that to yourself. Don't go around pathologizing people. It's not nice. Don't stoop that low.
Well said. Well said. I think you speak for the both of us there. All right. Next question. What question are you trying to answer most in your life right now?
How to move forward, basically. Like, how to keep the ball rolling. Step by step. How do I get through the next day? And I don't mean this in like a I'm so depressed type of way. I'm more or less thinking about this in the way of which type of like tasks do I have to go through in
Yeah,
life to be a functioning human being in this
absolutely.
society.
Yeah, because
I have to be mindful.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I have
there's
to be
so much
mindful of what.
shit that like is brought up upon us, and there's so many challenges that we have to face and endure, and
Yeah,
I can
for
relate to that.
example, for example, what pills? What pills? What bills do I need to pay? Or when is my next subscription ending? Or things not related to money, like am I able to do the dishes today? Or do I feel well enough in order to look after my body? Like, do I feel up for it to brush my teeth, or am I not in the mood for it? It sounds stupid, but sometimes life can be that overwhelming that
Yeah, you have to
you
take
struggle
it
to do,
moment by moment, step by step, if you
yeah,
have
or
to.
that you struggle to do basic tasks. Like, even the simplest things such as brushing your teeth can become challenges.
Yeah,
And
just getting out of bed some days, dude. Like I'm telling you, like
yeah,
there's days where I just want to rot in bed, not do shit. And yeah, the depression, anxiety, it can be tough to navigate.
Even outside of that, going on by a day basis, I think is sometimes the best way to go.
Yeah, yeah, just taking
But
moment
not
by
always
moment.
be stuck in the present. Think about the next day or do
Yeah,
like a weekly plan.
yeah,
I feel
having
like that is what has
structure and
worked
having
best for me.
routine will definitely help with that.
Yeah, I think that has worked best for me, like having some sort of like plan of how you're going to structure your next week and then making small adjustments when you need to. I feel like that is a question that I keep answering over and over again. How do I keep going with my day-to-day life
Mm,
in a manageable way possible?
yeah, no, I definitely relate to that. I would say a question that I'm trying to answer right now is how do I be happy? How do I break away from old habits and move
I
forward?
think I think a good way to look at it is not how do I get to be happy, but more like how do I stay happy long term?
Yeah, it's I'm here for the long haul for sure. So
Because I've had this conversation with other people, and it's always come up that happiness can be a temporary concept. Like, for example, if you buy something cool, like a watch or a car, or you get to eat something nice, you're going to feel happy in the moment,
yeah,
but not long term. So I feel like a lot of people are trying to get to that long term happiness.
yeah, and it's just something you gotta take step by step at the end of the day. And there are gonna
Yeah,
be
it's
moments where your world is gonna come crashing down, or you're gonna be put
yeah,
in a hard
it's important to not
situation.
rush things.
Yeah, just
It's
have to
important not
let
to
it
rush things.
all happen naturally. So
I feel like one thing that I also should mention is that if you're trying to get out of a difficult situation, don't expect it to be over in just like 1 day or 2 days.
yeah,
Sometimes it's going to get sometimes it's going to take weeks or even ages.
yeah, man.
I
Like
speak from experience.
dude, like same. Like I never thought that I would have the will to be sober. I was always on drugs, always seeking my next high, and it's just something that I had to break out of, and it didn't happen overnight. It took years, um, and now I'm finally at that point where I'm have living a clean, healthy life, and I feel happy. Like,
And I'm proud of you for
thank you.
being able to not only achieve that, but also admitting that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of shame that comes with using substances too. Like, um, my mom found out that I was using substances, but she still offered her love and support, and that is a testament of how much she loves me.
That is that is W mom.
W, 100%. Um, we got two more questions. These are pretty easy to answer. So, describe your perfect day. It's not really a question, but what is your perfect day?
You've said it was an easy question, but I'm struggling to think about anything, to be honest. I think my perfect day would be getting out of bed, being able to not worry about being a perfectionist for once, doing music, eating a nice meal at an appropriate time and not 5 p.m.
Yeah,
eating my first meal.
just waking up at like 3 p.m.
No, I don't even wake up at 3 p.m. I usually wake up at like 10 or 11 p.m. Then I just drink a coffee and then I don't eat anything for like, I don't know, the next 4 to 5 hours.
Yeah, I'm not a big like breakfast person either. Like I'll usually just like wait for lunch or dinner. But dude, nice. That seems like a pretty chill day. Um,
Yeah, I think the perfect day sometimes is much more simple than people think it is.
Yeah.
Like, not every day needs to be like, oh, I went to this cool park and I went to a roller coaster or I went to a huge water park.
Yeah.
I took a slide down one of the coolest and biggest and most exciting water slides on the entire fucking planet. No, I think a perfect day can be much simpler than that.
Yeah. I think for me, a perfect day is just to wake up and love myself and love what I do. And every day that I do, it's becoming easier. Like, there's nothing else I would rather be doing than this, for sure.
And you know what? In case no one told it to you today, I love you.
Oh, I love you too. You're a real one. And I guess this is more of a question for our viewers, but I guess we can answer this is, what parts of yourself do you see in me?
Okay, I'm not quite sure how to answer this question, so I'll let you go first this time.
All right. Yeah, Alex, I notice I see a lot of that perfectionism in me too. Just always striving to be better, to push myself. And I also see that compassion too, that happiness, you know. And I think that it's not easy to put yourself in other people's shoes, but yeah, like, you're just such a chill person. Like, I see a lot of myself in you too,
Oh,
not in like a weird way, but yeah.
yeah. I also see myself in you. That was a sex joke. If nobody got the reference,
Of course.
but yeah, I see a lot of parts in of me in you as well, especially like you already said, compassion and kindness, but also parts that some people would probably call negative depending on the context, maybe stubbornness.
Yeah. Or
And one thing that I am definitely very big about that I don't see as a negative at all, vulnerability.
yeah.
And the
It's
courage to speak up about things that actually bother you and wanting to improve.
exactly. I think that's what we're trying to accomplish here too with this.
I think we both have that people probably don't see artists as humans most of the time, that behind every artist there is an actual living person
Yeah,
who
and
has a very complex, complicated life
there's so much that
with,
goes on behind the scenes that a lot
yeah.
of listeners or viewers don't know about.
And it's often easy to forget that, because every person you meet, like ever, be it someone at the cashier in like a random shop, or I don't know, a passenger that you see riding a bus, or I don't know, just like someone walking down the street next to
Yeah,
you. All those people have their struggles, their own moral choices that they need to make, their own complex backstories, their own motivations, their own goals. Life isn't as simple as we often make it out to be, and I think that is one part that makes life actually so much more appealing to me.
yeah. It's that uncertainty, for sure. And
Not even that, it's just like the complexity and the way that we can study other people.
yeah, I
and
think
see them
once
for who
you,
they truly are.
yeah, no, for sure. And hopefully through this episode, more people, you know, start to see the true us. You know,
Yeah, so they know who we are.
not just presented on social media as our perfect image. You know, they get to see, you know, what it takes to achieve that.
Yeah, we don't need to pretend that social media is not what it seems to be always.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it can be a circus at times,
Oh yeah,
for
100%.
sure. Awesome. I think that was well spoken, bro. Like you said everything that was on my mind.
Oh man, that was great. That was great.
Great, yeah. All
Sometimes
right.
I stumbled over my words, but it's okay. It happens
Yeah,
sometimes.
and none of this is scripted anyways. Like we're just this is our first time doing this.
Yeah, I
I've
tend to
never
stumble over my words in real life all the time. Even
yeah, yeah,
even
same.
even in German, even in my own language.
Hey, imperfection is beauty.
Oh, that is definitely true.
Yeah. Well, if believe that's all the questions that I have. Any last thoughts? Any last comments before we wrap this up?
You are definitely more important than you think you are. Maybe not to yourself in the moment, but definitely to someone in your life.
Yeah,
You matter and you make the world a better place.
absolutely. If anyone is listening to this, you do matter. And your place in this world is here for a reason. So, yeah. Well, I will go ahead and cut this, and I'll edit it in post, and we'll make it the way we want it to. But
Yeah, I think it ended up being very long.
yeah, like an hour, like 2 hours, something like that.
Yeah, I think the first part alone ended up being 2 hours long, and the second part ended up being like an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of content we gotta filter through, but no, dude, thank you so much for being here and for sharing
Yeah, bro,
your
it was a
words.
blast.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to see what people think about this.
I'm also excited because I've never done this before. I've never been that open before in my life.
Yeah, the vulnerability.
So yeah, I've always wanted to do it, but I never really got the chance to do it. So now you encouraged me to do it, and I think getting out of your comfort zone is also very important.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like as artists, we're supposed to step out of our comfort zone and approach something new.
Yeah, even if it's not just related to art, it's even if it's just like self-expression at the end of the day, like
Yeah.
talking about experiences, whatever.
Hell yeah, man. That's what it's about. Well, thank you to everyone for tuning in. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Take care.
Bye.